All right, so I want to talk about the carnal mind that we all have. I want to talk about our nature that we all have. I want to talk about desires that we all have. I want to talk about why I, as a individual, I disagree with certain doctrine that talks about how we are supposed to resist our sexual nature and how we are as human beings. I highly disagree with certain things. This is why I'm someone, I don't label myself as anything. I don't label myself a Christian. I don't label myself a Satanist. I don't label myself any kind of ism. I am a creativist. I am an expressionist. I am the I am of everything. I am what I am when I am the thing that I am. And I have a carnal mind just like everybody else has a carnal mind. So I was watching this video the other day. If I remember, I will leave you a link in the description of this guy that speaks about, we're in a world where we are told to go against our carnal thinking. We are told to go against our sexuality. We're told to go against our expression, our kind of natural way of how we are. I mean, it's just how we are. It's built into us when we are created by whatever creates us. It is in us automatically. We can't help this. So as long as we have a carnal mind and we are in the carnal flesh, we are going to have a carnal mindfulness. When I see a woman that I am attracted to, I can't help the fact that I am attracted to that woman. It ain't that I'm lustful. I'm attracted to that. I want that. I desire that. I want to be a part of that. It's not right and it's not wrong. See, here's how I see this. If we can learn to be responsible with our carnalness, responsible carnality, carnal responsibility, carnal responsibleness. I don't know if that's a word, but as long as we are being responsible as people, I don't see anything wrong in the natural things that we do. See, this is why I don't label myself as a religious person or a saint or a sinner, because I don't go for that anymore. I'm not a saint. And yes, I have sinned before. I have did some bad shit in my life. And I learned from that because I was a stupid idiot with certain things. But I don't see certain things as sin anymore. I just can't see it that way for me personally. But it doesn't mean that I'm just going to go out here and be completely out of control and start having sex with every woman that I see or doing something against their will and forcing them. No, that's not anything that I'm saying. See, we look at carnal things as being bad things. I don't see carnalness as being bad. As long as I am not hurting someone or I am not forcing them to do something they don't want or wish to do, there is nothing wrong with what I am doing. Nothing wrong with it. And for some reason, see, I won't lie, sometimes my religious thinking, my spiritual thinking, my holy thinking, or whatever comes into play and says, you know that's wrong because, see, this is something that I was taught as a child. It was forced upon me. I was told it and I was taught it, and I believed certain things because I was afraid and I had fear, and I just believed it because someone spoke it and I heard it and I was taught it. So therefore I said, oh, that must be true for me. But that is not always the case. You see, we think just because we heard something from the people that we care for or love or were around, we think that just because they are saying things to us that we're supposed to listen to that, and we're supposed to live that way, and we're supposed to do everything they say because they say it because we know them and they're our relatives or they're our parents or our cousins or our friends or family. And I'm sorry, that's just not the way that the world works. And I'm doing this video because I'm not gonna lie to people. I am not what people think I am at all. I am not what people think I am. If you want me to be honest, I am a freak of nature. I'm a freak of nature, and I have a carnal mind. And see, the thing is, I think there is a difference between understanding the fact that I have a carnal mind, and I also have a side of me that tells me I have a moral compass too that says, Nate, you know that's wrong. You know you're pushing the envelope too far. You know you've done that before. You see what I'm saying? But having a responsibility for my carnal mind means everything, because I am not going to deliberately thwart my desires just because. You see, I don't understand. I do understand, but it makes no sense to be, if someone is going to be celibate with everything in their life, and I won't lie to people, lately I have been doing something called semen retention, and I feel more energized, and I have a bigger sexual drive. I'm thinking of women more. I don't want to get into like a bunch of personal ways of how I really feel, but it gives me more of a drive. I have a sense of drivenness, like I want to do something. And that's just my nature doing that. It's just my nature. It's nothing else. It's not good. It's not bad. It's not right. It's not wrong. It just is what it is. And this is where I highly, highly disagree with religious doctrine, or I'll just say doctrine, because I don't want to label it religion. Doctrine in books where it talks about, you know, flee from sexual things. Now, I agree with fleeing from sexual immorality, you know, doing something bad to another person in the name of sex. Of course, I'm not for that, because I wouldn't want that done to me. So my moral compass says, Nate, yes, that's wrong. But if we are both agreeing and we are both, I don't know the word I'm looking for, if we both want to do what we're doing and we do it responsibly, there's nothing wrong with this. It's a natural thing. It's a natural part of life. And when we suppress these things, when we're, see, let's just be real honest here. Let me get absolutely brutally honest with y'all. It goes back to whether you want to think it's a story or whether you want to think it's real life, whether you think it's a metaphor, a myth, I don't know what people think. But it goes back to the Garden of Eden, when God, the Creator, said to us in the carnal mind, but did we have a carnal mind at that time? I don't know. But we must have, because we made a decision to go for the thing that the Creator said you can't have. You see, you can have every other woman here, but that woman over there. And we're going to be attracted to the one that we cannot have. Why? Because it's suppression. It's saying, now this is a double-edged sword though. Hear me out. What is wrong if I pick the thing that the Creator said I don't want you having if I'm responsible with it? But at the same time, why can't I just say, okay, she's off limits, but I can have any one of these other million girls? Say in this field right here, there's 1 million women in front of me. 1 million women. And there's one girl there in the center that I'm looking at. And the Creator says, you can have any one of these 1 million women, but you can't have that one in the center. Most of us are going to automatically, our minds are going to go to what we're trying to suppress. You see, it's suppression. It's not allowing you to express, so therefore you want it more. You desire it more because you have to suppress the fact that you can't have it. And this is just how we are we not? If everybody's being honest, we're all like this. It's like when you're a kid and you got the yellow, the pink, the blue, the orange, the red, the green, the lavender. You got every color action figure, and they say, oh, no, you're a boy. You can have every one but the purple one or the pink one. Now, most of the time, a boy might not want pink or purple. I'm just giving a metaphor, but they're going to pick up the one that the person said you can't have. They're going to go for that one. This is our nature. This is our carnal nature. When we cannot express how we really feel, when we cannot express how our sexual desires really are, when we cannot express what we really need to say or want to say, when we suppress, all we do is we go against the grain of what we know we really want to do in the carnal mind. And that suppression brings about guilt and shame and all these other things. But at the same time, if you go overboard and you're not responsible with your carnalness, there's going to be penalties too. You see, there's going to be consequences. There's going to be repercussions. There's going to be things where we step over the boundary of our carnalness. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's very hard, I think, for the carnal mind to understand this. And most of us, we say spirituality and carnalness are two different things. I don't think they're different, but they are different, you see. It is, if we're not understanding contradiction by now, if we are not understanding that in order to have a negative, there must be a positive. In order for there to be a negative in electrical current, there has to be you guessed it, in order to have the color black, the darkest of the darkest black, in order to understand the opposite, you have got to have the whitest of the whitest white color to understand its opposition. This is with color tones. This is with people that are attracted to one another. You are not going to have somebody that is attracted to each other if they are both doing the same exact thing. If the girl makes music and she's bubbly and outgoing and she's a very private person and the man is like her, it's not going to work. Because there's no opposition there. There's no going against the grain with each other. There's no kind of reaction to the opposition that's going on. It can't work and it doesn't work. It's just like contrasting colors. Black is not going to stand out without white. And white is not going to stand out with black. Green is not going to stand out with the other primary colors that are the opposite of it. You see what I'm saying? Red, orange, and yellow, they all kind of go together, but they're still different colors. And see, if all of us could understand this uniqueness in and of ourselves, and we would stop blaming ourselves for how we really are and why we really are and how the Creator actually created us, whether you think we were created or not. I'm just using these terms if you want to think of it metaphorically, literally, mythically. I don't know how you want to, however people want to do it out there. It's not for me to judge or say what people think or how they think of this. But if we could be responsible with our carnalness, I truly, truly think that if there is some kind of creator or God that judges us on our actions or what we do, I don't think that creator or God is going to be disappointed or upset or angry or wrathful for us living our carnal lives responsibly. If I am attracted to something and I'm honest about what I'm attracted to, and I say, listen, I'm not attracted for the reasons to hurt you or harm you or to do anything morally wrong to you. It's just I'm attracted. This is how I really feel. This is what I really want. This is what my desire is. See, I don't see anything. I know that it says desire is the reason for all suffering. This is what the Buddha said, or whoever said this, the person that said it. I don't know the specific name of the person that said it, but that is true. Desire does bring about suffering, but at the same time, desire brings about feely good things. It brings about things we really want, but we suppress. We act like we don't want it, and we use these doctrines and these religious principles, and we use these things to kind of bash ourselves, but at the same time, it's kind of like we also do need some of that so we don't go overboard, so that we don't harm or hurt or injure or do something too much or force somebody against their will with it. You see what I'm saying? It's a polar opposition. It's a paradox. It's a conundrum going on. It's constantly, you're going back and forth with the carnal and the things that don't push it too far or don't do anything at all. And that mid-ground approach, that understanding the essence of that awareness that is being spoke, that is where we are going to find the life that we honestly, coherently, really want to live and want to express. But yet, see, when we either push the envelope or we don't do anything and we suppress it, all that we're doing is we are causing unnecessary problems for ourselves. We're only creating something that doesn't need to be created because we are ignorant of the fact that we are doing that to ourselves. And when we don't understand that, we keep living that way for other people, and we keep saying, I feel guilty for doing this, or I'm ashamed of doing this. And yes, there are some things that I have done in my life that I feel guilty for and I feel ashamed of. But now that I am someone that has developed my understanding and my way of thinking of life and being responsible for my own actions and being honest with myself, I don't need to hide that or act as if I don't desire something or act as if I don't have this natural sexual instinct in me to want to feel or touch or taste or do whatever it is that I do physically with a woman. I'm not ashamed of that. I'm not guilty for doing that. It's a natural thing. There's no reason for me to feel that way. But yet again, you're always reminding yourself too, am I pushing this too far? Am I doing too much? And see, that is where the individual person discerns this for themselves. And it doesn't matter what everybody else is saying. It doesn't matter how they're judging you or thinking how much you should do or how much you shouldn't do, or, oh, well, I don't do that, so you shouldn't do that. And it's always this thing where we're going by the world and we're going by other people. And there is a saying, I don't remember who the person is that said this, and I'm not quoting this exactly right, but if you go by the thinking of other people, you will always be a slave to other people. You will never be yourself because you're always worried about what other people think. And that's how I used to live myself. And sometimes that still comes up in my carnal thinking. It still comes up in my mind. Like, what is this person thinking? Or what is that person thinking? And whatever. And it doesn't matter what they're thinking because they're not going to live my life. They are not going to discern anything for me. Yes, it's great. It's a great thing when people can get together and can do something creatively, something that they desire, something of the carnal nature and mind, but we're also being responsible while we're doing it. But we're having fun. We're doing it. See, there's nothing wrong with that. We got to stop thinking that we need to feel ashamed or guilty or bad because we're doing something that we really want to do in this life. But yet again, it's always a reminder of, okay, when is enough enough? You see, when am I doing too much of this? See what I'm saying? It's just a reminder to yourself to be responsible to yourself and for yourself. And that is the only thing that matters here, is that you and I are responsible for ourselves and our actions. And if we feel as though something isn't fair, then say, I don't think this is fair. This is how I really feel. This is how I really see this thing. See, if you can't express, then you suppress. When you don't express, you suppress. And there's times where I suppress stuff. I suppress shit. And all it does is it gets me discouraged. It gets me in a bad way. It just throws me completely off when I suppress stuff. And I'm worried about what everybody's going to think. And oh, I shouldn't say that because they're not going to approve of it. See, that is like carnal slavery unto yourself. But then there is a carnal freedom that understands the contradiction, that understands the paradox, that understands you can please yourself. You can do things you want to do. You can express your sexualness. You can express those things, but always remind yourself when you are pushing it too far or you're not being responsible for that thing. Because right when you're not responsible, you're out of control. Right when you're not responsible, you're doing too much and you're causing problems. And this is all me venting what I know for myself. I'm not speaking for any other human. See, this is what I really want to be understood on my channel, whether it is understood or it isn't understood. I only speak for myself. I do not speak for any other human. I don't speak for how they think, what they say, whatever they do is what they do. That is their life, their choice, their decision, their minds, their carnalness, their spiritualness, if that's what you want to call it. See, I can only speak for myself all the time. And this is where individualism, to me, is a very important thing, is to be an individual. But then there are also times where we do want to share what we know with others. We want to express ourselves with and to and for others. We want to share in something with a reflection of what we know. We want to sup together. We want to feel one another. We want to have sex with one another. We want to touch one another. We want to be aware that we're there. This is just our human nature. This is how we are. But then I see so many of us repressing, suppressing it. And we act as though, like it's like drug addicts that act as though they're not fucked up. But that's what drugs do. They frick you up. They mess you up. That's just what it does. That's the territory with drug addiction. Like it's no mystery. It's no something that we don't know. We just act as like we don't know and we don't want to know, and then we suppress. And we act as though we're this thing when we know that we're not that thing. And yet again, there is a time, like Ecclesiastes says, I'm just speaking that doctrine, simply the words. There is a time for everything. There is a time to speak about certain things that I was speaking out, like in my later videos, like months ago. I was talking about more about God and the Creator and spiritual things and things that I know for myself that I had to reflect on. But now I'm talking about my carnal nature. I'm talking about that side of me. I'm talking about being responsible for my carnal nature, but I also have a carnal nature. I can't help the fact that I am a man that has a sex drive. I can't help that, and I'm not trying to suppress that. I am not. See, this is something that, in order to understand this, you have got to be willing to be absolutely 100% open and honest with yourself. If you're holding back anything or you're not willing to be completely honest, then we will suppress. We will act as though we're this thing when we know that we're really not. And do I do that? Sometimes I do that without trying to do it. There's times where I'm a hypocrite. We're all hypocrites. We all can be hypocrites. There's times where I'm hypocritical because if you want me to be honest, when you're a truthful person, you can't help but to contradict yourself sometimes. If you are honest and you are real and genuine, you are going to contradict yourself because you're going to say one thing one day that you really meant, and then the next day it can be the complete opposite of what you were saying, but you still meant what you were saying. But see, the world will hold you to what you said the day before. Oh, well, I thought you were that. I thought you were this way. I thought you were religious. I thought you were a Christian. I thought you were a Satanist that worshiped the devil. I thought that you were this. See, it's labels. Label, 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 label. Judging, 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 judging. Not understanding that we are all in this bowl of contradictory soup. And we can't do anything to get out of it. So let's be responsible in our carnalness. And we can't go wrong. We can't go wrong when we are responsible with our own carnalness, but yet we don't act as though we don't want to do those things when we know we really want to, because it's our nature. It's our nature. So I'm going to end it with that. I don't want to push it any further because now I feel like I'm just talking, and I don't want to just talk. I want it to be genuine. I want it to be from the heart. I want it to be from the mind, the innermost parts that I ask, why do we suppress? Express. Don't suppress, but when you express with a responsibleness. Express what you really want, but just remind yourself to be responsible about it. And if people think that you're being out of control or you're doing too much, no, you should already know that as a person. You already know that for yourself. I don't need to hear it from another human. I already know for myself. I've been there and done it, Jack. I've been up the hill, Jill. I've been around town, Charlie Brown. Been there and done it, Mr. Tunnett. That was pretty cool, right? See, don't hold back what you want to express. Did I push it too far? No, I was just expressing myself. That's all it was. So, with that, any support to the channel, I would highly appreciate. That would be a great thing. If anybody would help the channel, help me as a person. And yeah, let it be what it's going to be. Don't force this issue. Don't force anything. Forcing things is stupid. It's dumb to force stuff because forcing is not natural. And unnatural is fake. Unnatural will never be genuine. Unnatural will never be real. See that bird that's chirping in front of me? That bird is that bird and nothing else. That bird is not trying to be anything for me. It might be singing me a song right now. Thank you, bird, for singing me a song. But it's not trying to do that. It's automatically doing it. It's its carnalness. It's its nature to do that. I'm not judging that bird. How can I judge that bird? I'd be an idiot to judge that bird. A straight idiot. A stupid, idiotic, ignorant person if I judge that bird. I can't judge that bird even though it's cruel when it goes and it picks up something and eats it. I can't judge it. That's its nature. That's what it is meant to do. Now, why a creator would make it that way, I don't know, because I'm not the creator. But I can create things. I have the ability to do that myself. And I give the credit for whatever I am, I give the credit to the source, which makes everything all things. Because I am not the source. I am just a part of the source. I am fortunate to be a part of this thing, but sometimes I'm unfortunate because there's some things I don't want to be a part of. So there yet again, it is the contradiction. It is the paradox. It is the, I truly think for myself, I don't want to say the word believe, but I know for myself that the symbol of a circle with half black, half white, down the middle, equally divided, is the symbol of totality. It is the symbol of life and death. It is the symbol of sexuality and expression. And it is the symbol of responsibility and awareness. It is the absolute symbol of all symbols put together. That's what I know for myself. And that's why I will never stop drawing that. I will never stop using that. But I don't even see it as a symbol. I see it as a statement. It is facts. It is life. It is nature. It is who and what and when is going on when it's going on. It is the I am of everything. I don't care if it sounds cliche. I don't care if it's judged. I don't care anymore about any of that stuff because it is what it is. And when you and I can allow things to be what they really are, that is the uniqueness, that is the genuineness, that is the realness in an individual. And that to me is all that matters while we're here and while we're alive. That is the thing that matters to me the most. That's just for me though. I'm speaking for myself. I'm speaking for number one. See, number one should always be number one. It's not that you're selfish or greedy or any of that. You are number one. We're all number one because we're all ourselves and we're never going to be another person. You're never going to be me. I'm never going to be you. Are there things we might like about each other? Yeah. Are there things that we will dislike about each other? Yeah. Will we agree with things? Yes. Will we disagree with things? Yes. See, this word, I don't like this word like or unlike or whatever. I don't like those terms because what does it mean to like me as a person? Because you're not always going to like me. I'm going to say things that people are going to disagree with sometimes. You know what I'm saying? There is going to be things that we are not always going to see eye to eye with, and that's okay. That's life. That's understanding. What's up, brother? All right, looking good. So, I will leave everyone with that. I will leave you with that. I will leave you with what it is. I will leave you with what I am right now. It doesn't mean that I'm going to be doing that same thing tomorrow. See, so even though we hold ourselves accountable for our actions and our responsibilities, yet again, we don't hold the now accountable because the now is always changing. You see, when you realize that you almost can't even judge anymore, you judge, but at the same time, it's like, how can you judge anything when it is what it is and it's doing what it's doing? It's crazy, but that's the only way I know how to put it to everybody. So thank you for any support. Thank you for listening for yourselves. And I said what I had to say. Take care. Till next time.